Hello everybody, my name is Modigai and today I'm gonna teach you how to make a calculator. It's a very simple process, I'll admit that, but what's gonna make it hard to explain is basically I don't have a script. It's a very hard thing to talk and explain at the same time without having a bunch of text in front of you and you can read it, but it is what it is, we're here to learn. So now we'll start our code. Um, uh, this line over here, what it does is basically it imports the tkinter module and it gives it a name, sort of like naming your dog Caesar, like that, which is going to make it easier to call later, to reference exactly, without having a hassle around it. Now, what this line does, it's basically we're making a class. We're creating a class called calculator, which what it does is basically inherits from the tk.tk module, which means that this is going to be our main window app, our main program, which is gonna show up later in the video. Now what this line does, it's a constructor. It initializes the tkinter window from its parent class, which is the tk.tk model. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna this line, what this line over here does, it's basically self-explanatory. Just going to call it self calculator. The app, the program on which we're gonna do, it's going to call it self calculator, and the title, as we're gonna see later. What this one also does is, I mean, it sets the resolution from 300 to no, like 300 pixels wide and 400 pixels tall, or yeah, tall. Yeah. So for now, this is pretty self-explanatory. We don't have to do anything hard. What we're gonna do now is we're going to make the user unable to resize the window in any direction, actually. So self-resizable, false. You cannot do that. It's basically like, nah, you're not gonna do it. And this is like a message from the creator, from the dev to the user. You cannot resize the app. Now, what we're also doing over here is this line. This line stores a variable, which is going. The variable over here is the math expression, the math sentence input by the user. What this line does is it's going to allow us to bind the keyboard controls. Did I mention this calculator has keyboard support? Yeah, this is pretty cool code. This is pro code. Now what this line does basically is it sets up the visual elements, or like the buttons and etc etc. It sets up the visual elements and the display and all the calculator buttons. Now self-display, this line, it creates this display bar where numbers and results appear. It's styled, it has a style. It's basically, which I'm going to show later, is the style and with the fonts, the aligned text, etc etc etc. Also the self-display grid, or this line over here, we place it in the first row and make it stretch across 4 columns. So it's basically like a rectangle. Buttons is equal to dot dot dot. This is a list of button rows. each containing characters like numbers and operators. Um, this is a list of button rows, each containing characters like numbers and operators. Exactly. Uh-huh. Now, for these two lines, this nested loop places each button in the correct row and column using grid layout, which means button is with this line over here, we create a button for each character and assign it a command. When clicked, it will trigger self on button dot character. Um, this line over here, this method lets the calculator respond to the keyboard input. Meanwhile, these two lines, it binds numbers and operators keys to the on key function, which basically is this. These three lines over here, therefore the keyboard support, they're the buttons that we're gonna use. So return, the backspace, and the escape. These handle enter for equals, backspace to delete, and escape to clear. Now what we have to do